Hey all, I think I qualify as Australia's or the world's worst tradesman, but I'm an Aussie, so it's all about having a crack. Now I've got about 10 projects going on. Build a help with a mate. We've got three containers down the bottom, put an awning on, got solar in, did my concreting with the help of another neighbour because I stuffed that up. But yeah, it's all about having a go. And I've been burnt out twice here with the fires. So this is me trying to be self-sufficient again. In 2019, it just took everything. I had 1,000 plants. I had roaring veggie gardens. Everything was going really well, and then the fires just came and wiped it all out. So I just didn't give a shit and just gave up on everything. But it's taken 5 or 6 years, and I'm back having a crack. So this is going to be my big raised bed. So it's about, I don't know, 4 meters, 3 meters long. Sorry, 4 meters long. I don't know. I'm hopeless with measurements. So I just used some outdoor treated pine, and I'm trying to keep, like here I've put it on the outside rather than the inside. And also I don't use any sprays except with my posts because I've got really bad white ant problem here in the bush. So I don't want as much as possible it on that side where the spray, I actually pour it in and into the holes. So I don't know what residual poisoning there is. I don't spray anything if I can help it. I just, just want to let nature have its go. And I've got a little puppy coming in a week or two as well. So I've got to get this all cleaned up. And so this is huge. Like just that soil there was one scoop. As you can see, I've got some log rounds and things like that already in the bottom. But I went down the bottom and I just grabbed all this from, we had fires last September. And those paper barks, a big paper bark and a big, I think that's red gum, was laying across my track. So got a mate to help me with a chainsaw, and we chainsawed it all up, and I just left it in situ for, almost a year. Well, I only chainsawed it up about 3 months ago or 2 months ago. But if you were going to go and get soil and just fill this up with soil, this would cost you probably $500 in soil. So what I'm doing here is I'm just grabbing all the stuff from the bush, putting it in there. It's stuff that was on my track and taking up space. So I don't go and grab all nature's habitats. And if you live in suburbia, I'd probably be a little bit hesitant about just bringing any old wood in because you might introduce white ants where you didn't have them before. But if I leave a shovel out here for a couple of weeks, the white ants will get it, if it's lying on the ground. So you've got to keep all your wood off the ground as much as possible. And so what I've done is I've used bits of cardboard as the bottom layer, just what I had lying around. There's a box there that's full of ashes that I'll spread around, or even just leave there because I've got more ashes to use from the fire or whatever. And all this wood here I'm just going to chuck in, and I'll take it up to about a foot to 18 inches from the top, and then the top 18 inches will be topsoil. So I've got another load of topsoil there. I think I'll probably need 3 more, including that other load, 3 more loads of topsoil at least. It's called super soil. It's got a little bit of organic matter in it and everything already. There's some grass clippings that have been aged for over a year. I wouldn't be putting fresh stuff in. They've been sitting around for a year and they've broken down a little bit. But they take years to break down for some reason. I don't know why grass clippings take ages, but nothing seems to like them. But yeah, all this wood here is mostly paper bark, melaleuca, and a little bit of red gum. So that's basically it. And the frame, I didn't even measure it. Like I attached it to the beams of my shed, or this is my home. It's pretty messy, but I've got a week basically to get everything cleaned up. And I did some burning off yesterday just around the borders so that I can just make sure that, when the puppy comes, it's going to be on a leash all the time until it's really well trained. So you just leave a leash on it to run around with, and you can grab that leash if it gets into mischief. And there's so much here, it can get into mischief. Like I don't have chemicals on the ground, but there's, bits of tools and stuff like that I'll have to stack and move and everything. But it won't be outside unsupervised. It'll be following me around everywhere, I imagine, and getting lots of playtime and lots of walks. So this is going to be my veggie patch. So going to concentrate on vegetables that are really healthy for both me and the dog. So I'm thinking of cucumbers grow really well out here. I used to have some whopping cucumbers back in the day. So cucumbers are great. I've got mangoes there that I don't really like, but they're actually good in small quantities with dogs. I've got a couple of banana plants. Honey I can get from a neighbour, so natural honey, quarter of a teaspoon or half a teaspoon a day mixed in. Just all these things. Go on YouTube if you've got a puppy, and don't buy that shit, especially Purina. It's killed dogs. Also, if you're an Australian, it's bloody Nestle, and Nestle's American, so blacklist as much as possible American products until they get their shit together. Sorry for being political, but if you've seen any of my videos, I always throw a little bit of politics in there. So yeah, the kibble's not that great. The peas and everything, legumes and stuff like that, they're not that good for the dog. So what I'll be doing is I'll be doing mince and rice and things like that. But I'll be incorporating basically part of my diet into the dog's diet. So I always like doing things like permaculture, where you look at 2 or 3 or 4 things you can get value out of something. And so if I'm cooking, I usually cook 5 meals for myself, and part of that meal will be the dogs. So I won't obviously add things like onions or anything like that, or the rice and the meat I'll cook separately, and then I'll add it to mine and keep it out for the dog, and I'll just make up a week's worth of food for it and a week's worth of food for me. That's how I roll. And I look forward to the next meal. At the moment, I've got a risotto going with chorizo. That's really bad for you, so I'm going to eliminate that now and just replace it with chicken. I really like it for the first 2 meals, but then it does play havoc with your digestive system as well. So yeah, I'm about to just grab all these bits of wood. It's a decent trailer load there. I don't put a fire on unless someone comes over. I don't like burning because that's pollution, but I do love fires, like as in a fire in the house. But it's a waste when I'm by myself. I just rug up. I have an electric throw rug that I use because I'm 100% off the grid with my solar system, as you can see over here. A bit messy, but yeah, it's my solar system there. It's a Sunny Boy system. That's only 3.5 kilowatts. It's 8 years old now. It's been going well. It shuts down every now and then with an error, but I just boot it up again. But I went with the same, but I got a 15 kilowatt battery system down the bottom, and eventually this Land Rover, if you can see it, that's going to be converted to electric. That's my ideal dream. Maybe 2 years, 3 years. And I'm going to look for an old crashed Telstra and Tesla, sorry, not Telstra. Tesla. And it's my way of sticking it to Elon as well, as using, because he actually makes good cars. He's the way he goes about things. I don't agree with his philosophy. But yeah, his car technology is pretty good, apart from his auto drive cars, his self-driving ones. They're shit because they use cameras rather than Doppler radar, and they failed. I think they only passed 3 out of 7 tests, whereas the Doppler radar auto drive car passed all 7. So that's another thing I hate about him, and his Starlink as well. He rigged the 2024 election, and you can't say that because if fucking America, Trump's always said everything's been rigged against him. But he's the one rigging everything. He's the fucking biggest con man in the world. Like, we didn't give him a license in 1988 because of his links to known organised crime. And he has the FBI, New York FBI, they're a law unto themselves. The New York FBI and the New York cops in his pocket. Now he's got the Florida police and the, Blondie, Pam Bondi, she's from Florida. She was the DA down there. She got Epstein off, all that sort of stuff. So they're all pedophiles and corrupt bastards. But if you watch my channel, you know that I hate them with a passion. Our politics is pretty stable, so, I don't really like the one neuron nation, and Dutton's a bit of a pain, and Michaela Gash she's a witch, but Albo's a bit weak. He's just a softie. He needs to get harder on the environment and all that sort of stuff. But I've been here and I've been through like 5 floods, 3 fires, a mini tornado. And my mate who I bought the property off, he's my mate now, like I didn't know him before, but he was there for 10 years before me, and he's had less than half of that. So it's only anecdotal evidence, but I'm recording temperatures and rainfall and everything like that, definitely increasing. And people think, oh yeah, you're not going to have snow when it's global warming and that. That's bullshit. It's all extremes. So the heat in the Arctic Circle and the Antarctic uses convection and pushes the cold air up or down depending which pole it's on. And so you'll get freezing weather where it wasn't as cold before, and things like that. And you'll get extreme wet periods. We've been through a La Nina period. We're the opposite of the United States. So La Nina's wet here. And we're supposed to go back to a El Nino, but I think it's going to hang around for another season. And I'd rather have floods than fires, but they wreck my track up, cause a lot of problems. But this place here is built on a little bit of a hillock, and I'm 100 metres above sea level down the bottom of the track at 0. So I don't get flooding here. I get it down the bottom, and sometimes I can't get across the creek. That's why I was building the place down the bottom. So that's going to be my holiday home. I just go down there and potter around and spend time. I've got a whole lot of jobs to do. So this job to finish today is to just get this in here, and then I'll go in. I'm going to get some red scoria and put that around the sheds down the bottom, because they're green sheds. With the scoria, it's sort of like cardinal myrtle, because that's my team. If you can see that, the bunnies. They're not red and green there, that's the indigenous colours. But yeah, cardinal myrtle is like a darker green and a darker red. So I reckon it'll look really good with some grey pavers. I'm good at designing shit, I'm just not good at building it. So this will be a practical thing, and I'll be putting all the good, superfoods in here, planting. I'm going to do a whole lot of ranges of chilies because I like hot chili. So that's another thing I'm going to put on there. Just have a section with about 5 or 6 different varieties of chilies, and I'll go for the hottest and some of the mild ones as well. Add them to my cooking. I've thrown in a few more citrus, and I'll be getting more and getting back into it and having a crack. That's what it's all about. So if this inspires you to go out and do something yourself, even if you have to buy it, when I lived in my other place at Old Bar, I just had 3 or 4 raised vegetable patches, and I was only there for 7 months, but I was still growing kale and everything like that. Kale's a real good superfood. People hate it, but if you mix it in with something else and make it as part of a dish, you're going to get all the antioxidants and things like that. And that's why, we're just an obese nation. We're getting too fat. We're getting disease. I'm 63 nearly, and I'm not on any medication. I probably should be on mental health medication, but this sort of stuff, this is the mental health thing, just keeping yourself busy and doing projects. So this is one project of about 50 that I've got going. So I thought I'd just show you this. Video's gone longer than I intended it to, but I just can never say anything very succinct and short. So I hope you like this. Just showing you, some log rounds down there. Need some more soil there, and all that end will be full of those logs and everything. So have a nice day. It's beautiful out here. Look at this. If you see this, I've got escarpment on 3 sides, all the way up. So that's the only side that there's no escarpment, but the escarpment is 1.5 kilometres away on the other side. And I actually own land on the other side that just comes to beneath the escarpment. I've got 130 acres here, but I never go on the other side. It's just all conservation land, so I don't have to do anything. Because it's really sandy heath soil, I don't get a lot of weeds there. So this is another thing I've got to do in the next week or so. That's a lantana there that's just gone out of control. So I will have to use a little bit of glyphosate, and I'll be just doing the cut and paste method, keeping it as little as possible. The organic methods is just too out of control to handle for this area. So you do need to use some chemicals. But in 8 years, because of the fires and my laziness, I haven't used chemicals. My neighbour does. He gets grants and everything, but that's his concern. I try not to use the chemicals if I can help it. And that'll be good for the puppy. So all this stuff will be moved down the bottom, and this will be his play area. I'm going to set up a 3 by 3 metre cage with shade cloth and everything. So if I do have to go away, he can stay outside, and hopefully he won't dig. I'll probably put some bricks or something around. I haven't really worked out what to do, but yeah, as you can see, I did a little bit of burning there, more in the backyard, because there's a lot of things. And I'm not going to use the tick. I've looked at the tick and the flea stuff, and you're basically giving them like stuff that works on their central nervous system, and it's not good for them. So I'm looking at natural alternatives. The ultrasonic tick thing, a tick collar, which has got citronella and other things. You can bath them with things like what is it? Various powders like baking soda, and I'm not sure. I've got it all written down, but I've just been researching that. So I'm going to try that along with nightly checking. So, because I'm alone, that'll be part of the ritual, is a half an hour each night when we come in. It'll be a pat with a few treats and just going over with a flea comb and just trying to keep on top of it naturally. So I hope you enjoyed this. I've thrown a little bit of dog stuff in there as well, and I'll probably do a separate video once I get my dog. And I'm looking at natural alternatives. All right, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that by any means. I stared down the rabbit hole during COVID, but I decided to get 2 jabs because I couldn't work. And now that I don't work because I can't work, can't get a job at 62, even though I'm overqualified. I don't believe in going for more of the jabs, but if you have to work and you've got children and all that sort of stuff, I'd be following the blue book for my kids, and we did that with our 3 kids. But for myself out here, I hardly see anyone. Maybe once a week I go into town, going in a bit more regularly with buying stuff for building. But the thing is, everything that you take as far as medication and that, they always have side effects. So if you can do it with natural foods and superfoods and things like that, you're going to be a lot more healthier. And I want to stay healthy as long as possible because, I might only have 10, 15 years left on me, but it's going to be 10 or 15 years spent out in the bush and not in some geriatric nursing home. So if I have to go into a nursing home, I'll just go down the cross and get a hot shot or something because, God, I couldn't stand that. But I've raved on a lot, but I hope you like my place and I hope you like my videos. But if you don't, well, jog on.